Hi, welcome to Art Conspiracy. I'm Amy, and I just finished up teaching a class, and so I'm all warmed up with my watercolor. And I took a photograph of my brother who's taken the class from me. I'll show you his picture in a second. And I want to do a quick portrait study, so I thought I would share that with you. So, welcome, welcome. Let me show you what it looks like. Can we go to here? Here we go. This is my brother Onyx, previously known as Michael. He changed his name somewhere along the line. Too much protest in the family, but we did get over it. Now he's Onyx. And anyway, here's his picture. Took it on Zoom, which was very fun. I like these little Zoom portraits because they give you a little snapshot of their background, and I liked how this darks sort of fade into his shirt and his hat, and the lighting is interesting. And anyway, so this is what I want to do a quick study of. So I'm going to go here, drawing with my finger. So no complaints. But I want to show you how I sort of approach this. When you're learning to do a head, you learn that the head is an egg, and the eyes are in the center, and he's got eyes pretty much where they're supposed to be. So I'm going to put that in there just to show you. And then the nose is halfway down. And typically the nose lines up, the bottom of the nose lines up between the two eyes. And if you could see a little closer, which you probably can't, Onyx's nose is a little bigger than this. It's a little triangular. So I'm going to just divert from the norm right away. And I also pick up at the top of his nose, which is in the light. So that helps me see that shape. So he's got a real clear triangular situation here. And then that shadow of his eye socket is just, wow, he's got this great eyebrow coming out here. And I just draw the light and shadow instead of like trying to get all this. Anyway, okay. Parting line of the lips is right here, a third of the way down, but in his case, it's actually his mustache. So I'm drawing the edge of his mustache instead. Pretty fun. There we go. And here's underneath of his lip, a little shadow. Then I draw the shape of that beard, which is pretty fun. And the hat is like, it's going to be good. Add a little skull. Again, I'm drawing with my finger. It looks like he's got one of those sleeping hats on right now. But look at the shape of the light too, which is kind of cool. Bada boom, bada bing. I got his ear. So I'm just kind of giving you an idea of how I approach this, because once I go to my paper, you're not going to be able to see the photograph. Where does that shoulder come out of his face? It's way up here by his ear because he's hunched over a little bit. And then this dark is going to just blend in there. Do you see that? Then we got a beautiful light that's just raking this direction. The light of the chair if I want. There's a little doohickey on the wall. So I'm just playing with composition and light and dark. Speaking of which, let me do this very quickly because it might be informative. I'll show you the shadow is all here. So here also, it's a very crude tool that I'm using, but that's really a simple and truthful to what I'm going to do with my composition. So that, maybe some dark over here, that. But I have light next to the dark, light next to the dark, and maybe this is a little bit dark, but that's basically it. So anyway, that's a super quick version. So I don't know if that's helpful or not, but let's go to the drawing. Right, here we go. Down and dirty. The most important thing is to get his head where I want it, that shape, that triangular shape. So here it is. I'm working with pencil. I'm going to put the eyes in the middle. I'm going to just pretend this is anybody's head. Eyes in the center, nose halfway down, parting line of the lips. There you go, Mr. Anybody's head. But then I'm going to start finding his particular features. Again, he's got this triangular schnoz. Okay, so I'm just going to get that shape on there. And he's also got a little square tip of his nose, which I think is kind of cool. So there we go. So then again, eyebrow, wah, he's got like a triangle here, this eye socket. Not going to get real specific. I'm going to let this work out in the paint. Okay, come down here, and then parting line of the lips, basically going to be his mustache. Making that line a little bit crooked because it's hairy. Got a little triangle here. Shape of that beard, so fun. Okay. And then he's got a really wide bottom lip. There's his chin. And got that great beard here. There we go. And then of course I'll get rid of some of those lines. I'll show you that. I'll erase some of those structural lines. So then when I go to do his ear, I think, where is it located next to what I've already established? It's all the way up here. And it's pretty flat next to the head. It shows up down by his nose. Good. But I want that there. It's important. It's light and there's really dark right next to it. And then where's that hat? Oh, yeah. I don't want it to look like a sock. Like one of those hats that the guy wore in Christmas Carol. Beret. It's a little bit hard to see because the dark. There we go. That's a little better. Good. Red. Da, da, da. Okay, that's plenty of definition for his face for the first round paint. Maybe I think about little curvy. We'll make this a little bit higher. Good. Okay, then now I can let go. Oh my God. Portrait part's over. It's shoulder. That's easy. Where's it coming out? There's a little negative space here, which is nice. I'm gonna grab that. Actually, that's a chair, which I couldn't tell. There we go. And then again, got a block of light, and then some darkness. Got some kind of doohickey on the wall, but it breaks up that space. I like that. He's got some clothes hanging here. Have to be particularly faithful to this. Closeness just hanging there. Looks like a radiator. There's a little picture hanging down. It's the spirit of the thing that matters. This is light. Some shelves. Not being careful at all. Just blocking out some big areas of light and dark. Just good. Okay. Dark. See the light. This is dark shapes. Okay, good. Then the next step is I just erase like any structural lines that I don't need anymore, like lines that showed where his eyes were in an arc, got rid of those. Even the side of his face I can re-put in with paint. So any extra lines I get rid of here, extra skull line. So now I have kind of a bare bones. Good. I'm going to clean up his nose a little bit too. Just because That's kind of important to the portrait aspect, that I get that right. Oh yeah, there he is. Good. Now I'm going to do something kind of radical. I'm going to actually use marker. We just did this in my class today, so it's kind of cool. Like anywhere I'm going to end up having a dark edge, I'm going to go ahead and draw this with marker. So that's going to be dark. His brow. And coming down. Pretty dark. Going up. That's the little under eye here. Got a cute little wrinkle. This is definitely dark. There we go. Maybe this side here. His mustache. Yeah, looking good. Looking good. Where else do I want it? I'm just going to throw down the gauntlet, and then I know that I have to make other things dark to make that line disappear. That's the goal. So I'm sort of setting down the gauntlet with some of these dark lines. Make them disappear. Even here in his beard, the side of that face. Make that disappear. Oh, this is dark. Isolating the shapes. Good. A little bit more. So pick my battles. Pick where I want to have my light and dark. Okay, going in. It's going to be fun. Yeah, I'm going to use a big flat brush. I'm going to just go right in with burnt umber. Just come out a little bit so you can see what I'm doing. Whoa, crazy. Okay, it's going to be a quick, loose sketch. So, I'm going to just go over his whole entire fleshy area. And I'm going to pull out the light. Good. Good, good, good. Now I might, while it's a little bit wet, might add a little darker tone. So I'm going to take a little darker brown, but you could also actually do a little tiny touch of blue because we're talking shadow color. I'm going to go right up to the edge here. And do some more here. All this. I'm going to push the paint around a little bit. Have a little bit of fun with it. Oh yeah. Underneath his lip. His lip's pretty red here. And then you got a little shadow. Very good. Maybe pull out a little bit of that under eye. Sometimes it's not really the eye, but what's around the eye that defines it. Look, see him in there? I do. And then I'm going to pull out a little bit here, the underneath of the eye. Oh yeah, it's good. Okay, let's just get right into it. I'm going to use basically Payne's Gray for the dark. Payne's Gray is a little blue-gray, but it's kind of a quick way to make a neutral. I might add a little bit of that brown. Yeah, I don't want it to be totally blue. So I'll mix in a nice dark neutral. Maybe I'll get a little indigo. Whoa, super strong color. Okay, ready? Let's go. And if I touch his forehead, it's going to run. So I'm going to be a little bit careful. Just doing my base color. That beautiful cap. And actually, look, let's just take this all the way out. So I'm not isolating my shapes. Might have eaten into his face a little bit. It's okay. This is good. And then I might pull out some of this. And just playing. Always reintroduce my darks as I need to. Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna work on his beard a little bit. So there's the shape. And I'm just creating a little bit of scalloped line. And I just realized that you see a little bit of his flesh over here. So I just blotted out a little space. Oh yeah. Face, beardness. Not to be confused with weirdness. Look at a chair showing up. Oh yeah, they're gonna get really dark. Look at this. Added some more darks right along the base of his hat, trying to give it a little bit of shape. Well, it's kind of hard to see when it's wet. But a little bit of articulation. Yeah, it's kind of hard to see. Sorry about that. Somewhere that here. Everything's pretty doggone wet. Okay, I'm gonna do a little bit more dark here. I can touch, I can run. Okay, now I got like this weird bloom going on. Get lower. See that in his flesh? So I'm going to wet this. Sort of reactivate the paint. And then I'm going to blot it. I mean, you don't know exactly what's going to happen, but I just am changing it. I want there to be more, can be more texture. I just don't want it to distort. So it's pretty wet. So I can also start to drop in some more paint and redo that part. Oh yeah. Just watching what happens. I mean, that was really gutsy to just drop that paint in there. Like push it around. I got to watch it as it dries. I'm going to pick up a little bit of this paint from above the eye. I'm going to put it on the base of the nose, that little triangle that I told you about. Maybe pull a little bit over here. Pick it up from there. Put it down over here. Good. Good. It's just wet. Moving around that puddle is just, ooh, it's happening. But I like the light. Change that little jaggedy edge. Craft it just a tiny bit more. Maybe I want this to be smoother. Again, I'm going to wet this and move it around a little bit, soften it. I don't want it to look like he's got a nut in his cheek. Okay, well, I'm going to let that dry a little bit. It's happening. It's pretty cool. I'm going to work on his beard. So I'm going to get a little bit of gray, obviously. And a beard is just like anything else. It's got a dark side and a light side. This side is darker. I'm going to put that on there. Don't worry, I'm going to pull it out. Drag it down. Sort of cleaning up as I go. It's amazing to me that this ever even turns out. When you start playing like this, and you're like, what? Got to have a little bit of faith. Wetting a little bit more, blot it. Wetting a little bit more, blot it. So it's just the feeling. Oh yeah, the feeling of that beard. A little bit here, just a little texture. Amazing. Surprising myself. Add a little bit more here. Little shelf action. Okay, that's pretty good. Now what I want to do is clean up. This line looks a little bit too sharp for me. So I'm going to actually make it softer by taking it out a little bit. Yep, going to blot it. Just make it a little softer. Separate out the side of his face from his ear. Just a tiny bit more. This is good. Now I'm waiting for this to dry completely, and I'm going to drop in some darks that will indicate his eyes. Okay, but meanwhile, a couple quick things. Let's put a little bit more color into his lips, his lip. Yeah, very good. And then I'm also going to add some color into the background. So I already have some sort of residue colors. This is all pretty neutral stuff. This is a doorway. I want to keep it fairly abstract, but I do want there to be a little bit more color. Bada boom, bada bang. And I tend to, as I go to the edges of my composition, I make things a little bit more abstract. So I'm just letting these be marks, leaving empty space. I'm going to get a little tiny bit warmer for whatever's going on over here, which I don't know what it is, but I don't need to know. It's just a little red square. And then I want to balance that with something. I'm going to put a little bit red over there. Yeah, see how that works? Pretty fun. And I could even put the tiniest bit more red in his mouth, because his lips are pretty rosy. There we go. This is turning out pretty doggone good, if I do say so myself. Okay, let's do something with this. Now this is really cool. So I'm going to take a sepia, which is a dark neutral, but it's more of a cool, excuse me, warm. How did I say cool? I always get this mixed up. It's hard to talk and paint at the same time. I'm putting in a warm next to the cool. See that? Gives a little different feeling, and it relates more to his flesh tones. And I'm just kind of getting rid of a little bit more of the white. And maybe I'll indicate his collar. So this is really fine tuning at this point. So I might even be able to let you go. I do want to say though, I need to drop in that I'm going to drop in some dark in the eyes. But I don't want to do it yet. I want to wait till it dries a little bit. Otherwise, I am asking for trouble. I'm just going to show you that collar. Basically by making it a light shape. I'm letting this paint puddle, purposefully puddle. And remember when I said that there was a little bit of flesh down here? I don't think it's too late. I made his beard pretty raggedy. So indicating his flesh tones here might help shape his beard a little bit more. Sorry about that, Onyx. Here, I'll give you a trim. Shape your beard up a little bit so you don't look like Rasputin. There. Then I hide my correction. I go downward. Hide my correction. And let's give him a little. Ooh. Go down from there and call it good. Oh man, that was pretty quick. So let me change this. What do you think? Anyway, that's the portrait. I'll put that on the internet and you can see it. Anyway, that's it. Bye from Art Conspiracy. Thanks for being here as always. Bye.